Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I haven't been able to do a lot of uploads in the past week due to a lot of events that have been happening on other card games. But I digress. So I decided to do a black deck profile, black Vegito deck profile, and this leader reads every time you can combo with one of your Goku, Xeno, or Vegito Xeno cards. Then you're able to draw a card on either player's turn. So keep in mind that don't forget to use the Burst 1 ability first before you're drawing. This allows you to activate Overwhelm at as early as turn 2, assuming that you're doing everything correctly. So the way that this leader awakens is if you have this particular unison in play. It does cost 2 Z energy and also 2 energy. So you're going to be playing this on turn 2 and then being awakened by turn 2. In order to awaken, you're going to untap 1 and draw 1, and then you're also going to take life until you have 6. So on the backside here, you can choose battle cards from underneath your Z unison when choosing cards to use with a black card's Union Bator skill from your hand. So this means that you can basically use cards that you slip underneath your unison in order for you to do Batora, so that you can play Batora without actually using any materials, so that you don't actually go neg on anything. So very useful skill. Additionally, once per turn, when one of your black card with a union skill or a black unison attacks, so I always forget that one, but also if one of them activates blocker, you're able to draw a card only once per turn though. So whatever is doing the blocking, the attacking, gets a 5k power for the turn, and you're also able to draw a card. So this allows you to draw on either player's turn, so you're able to generate a +2 in one full round. Another important skill this ability has is the Activate Battle, which allows you to combo cards from underneath your battle card or your Z Unison. So a battle card that does have cards underneath it frequently is going to be your boss monster. So the boss card here in your deck that you can actually play as early as turn 2 is the SS4 Vegito, Sparking Offense and Defense. So this means that in the title you can already tell what this card does. It's able to restand itself at the end of the turn so that you can activate blocker even after you declare an attack with this card. So just an FYI that you are able to burst 2 cards when you are at the end of turn to switches back to active mode. So this fuels up your Overwhelm much better so that you can attack and also block. So it also has Barrier and Double Strike, so this is going to be a really good mid-range boss monster. Your SDR of choice is going to be one out of the set. It's going to be the SSB Kaioken Vegito, which allows you to pretty much play him for free if you have 4 more energy. And for each marker on your unison, you're going to have pretty much a large amount of markers. Hopefully the meta doesn't shift to where people are playing ways to snipe this guy off the board using Black Smoke Dragon. But in the event that the Black Smoke Dragon does get banned for some reason, then this leader, all the cards out of this set will actually get a power boost. So anyways, whenever this unison gets 3 markers, you can basically play this card for free, as this card does not have a specified cost. So this is going to be very useful. Another thing that I've noticed about this particular card here is that you can basically use this card in any deck. It's very vanilla. So it means that, it's very generic. And because it's very generic, you can actually splash into any deck because it only cares about markers on your unison. So additionally, you can burst 3 to send cards from your hand to the warp and switch it to active mode. It has triple strike. So I can imagine this SCR is going to be very sought after, as it is generic, and also being able to do triple strike for literally free sounds like a very appealing choice, as the Z unisons are going to be used into this meta and in the next probably the next few metas that come after, assuming the card game persists. So turn 1 play you want to do for this deck is going to be the SS4 Son Goku opening gambit or the SS4 Vegeta opening gambit. So these are the 2 cards that you want to open up with at least one of, because you want to be able to play this card and generate a +1. Your Goku here is able to draw you a card, while the Vegeta here looks so you look at the top 5. So you most likely want to have the Vegeta here, because the Vegeta lets you look for a Black Saiyan with an energy cost of 5 or less and add it to your hand. So that even means your super combo as well, which is a really strong pick. The other cards that you could choose are the counterplay. A lot of festering that's been happening on the community Discord, or not the discussion groups about this card, because it is one of the few colors now that allows you to have free counterplay. However, this card only lets you draw a card, and it only warps cards, battle cards on your opponent's side that has 5 or less. So not as strong as the charismatic villain to be able to KO battle cards that cost 7 or less. But this one only warps a card that's 5 or less. So they definitely did some balancing. But additionally, this card gives your leader a +5k power for the turn. So it gives your leader a +5 sort of like a sensu bean. So black leaders all across the board is getting definitely a boost from this particular card here. So definitely a staple that you should buy if you're a black leader user. Additionally, you can burst 2 cards to do the warping and the drawing. But in order to warp a battle cards from your opponent's side, you do have to put 1 card from your hand to the Z energy. So you can't just circumvent that. You have to be able to do that. You have to do that skill. It does have an overwhelm ability for 5. 5 is the magic number because 5 overwhelm 5 is the number you want, because by turn 2 you're going to be able you need to be able to send things to the warp so that you can place things underneath this unison. So that's why it's really necessary that you overwhelm for 5 at least. The other cards you play from the archetype is the start of a fierce battle. I do play the 4-2 split because the Goku here allows you to draw 2 cards and discard 1, whereas the Vegeta here is only a critical, so it's going to be a body that evaporates after the end of the turn. So you don't want the bodies to leave at the end of turn, so by the time that you play this out, you're at least able to draw 2 cards and discard 1 card, so you're not really losing any value. All of them have these abilities that are limit 1, where if you do combo with him when you have 2 or more energy, and you have a Vegeta Xeno card, so basically each other in the combo area, you can place this card from the drop to the Z energy. So this allows you to basically put more cards in your Z energy, but most likely you're not going to be using that skill very often, as the way to combo cards to your Z energy is going to be from using the backside of your leader. The backside of the leader allows you to, again, let you combo cards from underneath your black battle cards or Z unison. So it allows you to Z charge pretty well. There is the Fearless Fusion, which is a Union Fusion battle card that allows you to basically proc your backside of your leader so that you can draw cards. So basically that's how it is. It also has blocker too, so if you don't for some reason have access to this card, you can also use this card to block as well, and then draw you a card in your opponent's turn. It also has a really cool skill too, where you can just choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier that costs 4 or less, and then warp it. So this allows you to basically Union Fusion by using cards from your warp, and that's going to be useful because you can fill up your drop again so that you can overwhelm for another turn. So a lot of different movement of cards between the archetype. To call back from the old True Fighting Spirit, this card does have an errata, just to keep in mind for you guys, that it is only able to use this effect limit 1, so you aren't able to use it across. You can't play 2 of these cards and then proc the ability to warp a card from your opponent's hand, but it's very useful for taxing your opponent in the event that they try to negate you using their counterplay skill, or their counter skill. It doesn't have to be a counterplay. So this includes a counterattack. So I think that's pretty much all. If you guys want to look at these are pretty old cards. They're also Goku Xenos. Just keep in mind that this Heated Fighting Spirit can be played for 1 energy. So you can stick it on the board so it doesn't evaporate at the end of the turn. It negates critical for the turn, so it allows you to hit for 30k crit. But the other ability, of course, everybody knows about this ability, is that you're able to choose one of your opponent's battle card and send it to the warp. So that's pretty much all there is. I think I went through all of it. Let's go to the Z deck. The Z deck has one of these guys, which allows you to play it for 1 energy and allows you to have deflect as well. It's a 20k base stat for only 1 energy. It does say 2, but it does reduce itself down to 1 because your black unison allows you to reduce the cost of this card by 1. So that's really nice. And then the activate man allows you to remove from the game and then place 2 black battle cards from your warp underneath your Union of Sparks. So not really necessary to play multiple copies of this. I don't imagine playing too many copies of this, as there are better cards that you can play in your Z energy from your Z deck. A card that's old or semi-old is that allows you to you're allowed to play this battle card that's black. You are able to pay the 2 Z energy pretty frequently, as your leader allows you to basically combo 2 cards from underneath your battle cards again. It allows you using their abilities to combo cards to the Z energy, so you can play this guy for free, for basically free. He does have the ability that's really nice, that if he does come into play for 1 energy, you get to choose one of your opponent's battle card and send it to the owner's warp. So a very strong ability there, and it does allow himself to gain a plus 10k power and double strike for the turn. So for 1 energy, you can play a 25k base, 25k power double striker. So that sounds like a really good deal for me, and I would definitely encourage you guys to play more copies of this. And then, of course, there's the Boo here. If you don't want your opponent to have cards in their drop area, you can always absorb their cards underneath the Majin Buu here. But I only play 1 copy because it's kind of redundant to play so many cards that can remove battle cards off your opponent's side. And then of course you can have to play the Mighty Blast here because it allows you to at least give your opponent yourself another 10k for free by removing it from the game. So yeah, that's all pretty much it for the deck profile. I will do a gameplay video, so if you guys are interested in the gameplay video, stay tuned for that in a few seconds. Okay, this is going to be a demonstration video for you guys if you guys are curious how the deck kind of works on a turn-by-turn basis. Alright, so what the leader does is, I'm going to draw 6 cards here. So I'm going to draw 6 cards here, and I'm going to keep certain cards. Looks like any of none of the cards that I want in my starting hand, so I'm going to actually mulligan away my entire hand because I do want to keep... I definitely want to start off with a 1-drop, so maybe I'll keep 1 super combo, but the rest has to go. Okay, I'm going to shuffle the deck here, and then I'm going to draw 5. And that's perfect. So now I'm able to see my starter card, which is going to be this particular Goku here. So I'm going to put 6 cards or 8 cards out. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to charge the Protector of the People. As I'm trying to demonstrate the game anyways, and less more about the strategy component. And I'm going to pay the 1 energy here to play the SS4 Goku here, the Opening Gambit. Really nice little title that he has because this is what you want to open up with. So you're going to use the ability here to draw a card. It is unable to attack because you don't have a Z Unison, but you're at least able to draw a card. Unfortunately for me, I forgot to do the order right, so I'm actually supposed to burst the super combo here, and so I lose the super combo here, and then I'm able to draw a card. So this is going to allow me to basically combo him away on my opponent's turn because he doesn't generate a +1 on my front side. So on my opponent's turn, when they do decide to declare an attack, most likely here I'm going to combo away this Goku here, and that's going to proc this ability to burst 1, and then I'm also going to proc the ability to draw a card. So this is going to allow me to at least put 2 cards in my my drop area, and that's going to be useful. I'm going to Z-charge. I'm going to put the leader over here. I'm going to Z-charge the Goku here, and I'm going to have 1 Z energy so that I can send away from my Z Unison. On my following turn, I'm going to draw a card here, and I'm going to charge the True Fighting Spirit as I already have 1 in my hand. Okay, from here, I'm going to declare an attack with the leader here, and I'm going to combo away a card. I'm going to combo away the True Fighting Spirit here, as it is a Son Goku Xeno, and that's going to allow me to burst 1 into the drop area from my deck, and then I'm also going to allow me to draw a card. So at this point, after I Z-charge with this guy, this allows me to basically put 2 more things into the drop area from the Z energy so that I can overwhelm this guy into play. So from here, I'm going to pay the 2 energy. I'm going to send the 2 cards to the drop area. And so now I have exactly 5 cards into my drop area so that I can do overwhelm plays. So I'm going to play the Z Unison, which is the point of this deck. And then I now come in with 2 markers. From here, in order for this to proc its +1 ability, you do have to have the one of the cards attack, including itself. So what we're going to do here is we're going to awaken first so that we can take life. And we're going to untap 1 and then draw 1 and then take cards until we have 6. So we have 6 life as a generic awakening ability that's been happening across the sets. So now at this point in time, we can actually use the overwhelm ability. What we're going to do here first is you have to overwhelm first because in order for you to gain 2 cards from your warp and place it underneath it, you actually had to have a warp. So in order to do so, you have to overwhelm. So what we're going to do here is overwhelm this 5 cards, overwhelm 5. We're going to send all the cards to the warp here. We're going to proc the ability of the Goku here to draw 2, and then we're going to discard a card that we don't need anymore. Yeah, let's discard the Petrification here. We're most likely going to attack with this first because we want to be able to put the cards underneath in the event that they have Power of the Super Saiyan, for example, if you're playing against yellow. So we're going to swing with this guy first. This is going to proc the +1 ability here. We're going to put 1 of each Goku as well as a Vegeta underneath the Unison here. So that's pretty handy. And then from here, you're also going to proc this ability here to draw a card. So this Unison is going to be hitting for 20k on the front side. Normally, I would be able to play the mini boss battle card. However, I don't have it in my hand. So for the sake of learning, I'm actually going to add it to my hand here. So it looks like there's only 1 left in my deck. So that looks like the rest is in my life. So I'm going to swap this card, and then I'm going to put this Vegeta back here as we don't really need it. Okay, from here, we can swing with this Goku here to put 20k power of pressure on your opponent. And from here, you can pay the 1 energy to basically Union Batara from underneath your Z Unison because that's the leader's ability. It says here you can choose battle cards from underneath your Z Unison when choosing cards for your black cards Union Batara skill from your hand. So we're going to activate the Union Batara from our hand here, and that's going to allow us to play this guy. And then place these cards from underneath him, underneath your mini boss monster here. So as early as turn 2, if you have drawn the boss monster, you have a blocker that has barrier, double strike, and blocker. So that's really nice. So what we're going to do here is swing with him, since we already have a free swing with this guy. At the end of turn, a lot of things are going to happen here. First, you're going to overwhelm away this Goku here. And then from there, you can also, you're gonna restand the this guy here, and then send 2 cards from your deck to the drop area. Now you have a healthy 3 cards in your drop area. Unfortunately, we did mill the Unison, or the SCR, and I don't think there's a way for you to retrieve it back, because it does have a cost of 8 in your hand, so you can't even use this Goku here to search it. But unfortunately, but since we are trying to learn how this deck can work, we're actually going to add this back to our hand later on in the game. So in order for our Unison not to lose markers, what we're going to do here is block the attack on our opponent's turn. That's going to trigger our leader ability here to draw a card, because we did use a Union skill to block with. So we did block a card, and then this is also going to get a +5 for the turn. And then on top of that, we can actually place 2 more cards, because it says whenever one of your black cards with Union attacks or activates the blocker skill, you can place 2 cards from your warp underneath this card. So we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to add the Goku here, as well as the Vegeta super combo. So that's going to be placed underneath the Vegito. And then on top of that, the Activate Battle allows you to combo away these cards from underneath the Unison here. So that's what we're going to do. Normally, if this card didn't negate the skill of the cards that you place from underneath your combo area, so if you're able to combo for this, for example, unfortunately, it does negate the skill of the combo, the super combo. So just don't try to cheat your opponent on this one, or your opponent cheats you, because he does negate the skill of the combo card. So he's gonna, I'm gonna combo away these 2 cards here. Since this ability says that it has to be combo from your hand, you unfortunately cannot combo this to your Z energy at the end of battle. So you're only able to Z charge only one. So let's just Z charge the super combo here, and then place the Goku in the drop. So we now have a healthy 4 cards in our drop area for the next overwhelm play. And then on top of that, but of course you don't actually have to use the ability to combo 2 cards underneath using this ability. So you can always keep this guy in the from underneath your Unison, so they can use the Unison to activate main, which is not a +up ability, and allows you to send this card to the drop and then draw a card. So we're going to start our turn again, and then we're going to draw a card. So keep in mind that if your opponent tries to develop on their second turn, you always had this ability here to disrupt their play. So let's say most of the decks kind of develop on their turn 2, and if you do go first, you do have this ability here to burst 2 cards to the drop. So since I already drew, we're going to actually place this in the drop here, and then we're going to place 1 more card from our deck and send it to the drop as well. So that's going to allow us to play this card and then draw a card and then send a card to the warp. So let's send a card that we might need to the Z energy here. We're going to send this Vegeta off to the Z energy so that we can disrupt our opponent. Additionally, this card will also give my leader +5, but it's only going to be for the turn. So since we already started our turn, that's already cool. So now we're going to draw for turn, and then we untap everything here, and then we're going to charge Protect the People. So assuming everything goes right here, we have a Unison here with 4 markers. This should have 4, because it gains a +1 on our opponent's turn. So now we have a +1 here, and so this allows us to basically place the Activate Battle here, to place the Goku into the drop area, and then you're able to draw a card. Cool. So now you have 6 cards in your drop area, so you can actually overwhelm a lot more nicer. So ensuring that you want to use the cards in your battle area first before anything happens to them. We're going to swing with our Unison first, and that's going to proc our leader ability here to draw a card, so that the Unison gets a +5, and then nothing ever happens to him. So that's going to be really nice. It's also going to be able to place 2 cards from the warp underneath it. So that's going to do that. We're going to place 2 cards underneath from our warp. Okay, so now we have no cards in our warp, so that's really nice, because now when we overwhelm for 6, using our Beyond All Limits, we're going to be able to put a lot of pressure on. So now this card is going to be able to hit for 20, and it's also going to get a marker. So that's what's going to happen here. We're going to swing with the 30k here, because it does have barrier, and then we can swing for a 20k. So a lot of good things going on so far. We've already done so. Now we're going to use the overwhelm ability of the Beyond All Limits. So that's what we'll do. We're going to send all this to the warp here, and then we're going to actually use this ability here to add a black card that we might need. So let's add we can actually recycle the the counterplay here. So that's what we're gonna do. We're actually gonna add this to our hand here. So that's really strong already. We can hit for 30k again, and we haven't used a single energy yet. So now we can pay the 1 energy to play this heating fighting spirit, because we now have a 30k Goku in play. And then this is going to allow us to warp one of our opponent's battle cards, and then we can swing again for 30, and also he's going to stick around for much more longer. So now we'll only use 1 energy. We have this really wide board by turn 3. Most of the time, Black's design in the Masters allows you to basically go aggro face with this particular color. So yeah, now we're gonna attack with the leader here. It doesn't draw a card on attack, but that's fine. We're gonna hit for the 15 here. Let's see what else we can do here. We can also use the Union Fusion here. So we can have 2 blockers, but we're actually going to use the Z energy so that we can play for things. So we're going to pay the 2, send this off to the drop here. So we're going to pay the 1 energy here to play this card from the set. It only costs 1 and 1 Z energy because it's reduced because you have a Z unison. So you have a 20k beater. You're going to swing for 20k. You can also use the ability here to add cards from your warp and place it underneath your unison. So, or you can also you can do that too. So let's attack with this, and then we're going to use this ability on the activate battle to combo these 2 cards from underneath our unison here, so that we can have cards in our Z energy. So then we're going to put these back into our Z energy. We're going to place this in the drop here, and then we're going to remove this card from play. And that allows us to place 2 cards from our warp underneath. So we're going to place 2 of these. So now we have a healthy replenishing supply of Z energies that we can use from underneath our unison. What else can we do here? So we can also pay the 1 energy here to play the Mighty Blast. So that's what we're going to do here. So now we have our Mighty Blast for more defense, and as early as turn 3. So I can already see this deck being really consistent because you can at least do a lot of plays. So on our opponent's at the end of turn, don't forget that you can actually use his ability to restand him and then place 2 cards in the drop area. So that's what we'll do. And then this guy is going to go away because it's an overwhelm. These 2 cards stay. So now you have a blocker that can block on our opponent's turn. And then you also have a card that can generate you advantage using your leader ability to draw a card. So already having high hopes for this particular leader. You haven't actually taken life at this point. So we're going to take let's pretend we take life here. And then we actually use Support of the Dark Empire. This allows us to go from 5 to 4 so that our super combo becomes live. So that's going to be useful. We can actually block the Unison Swing, use this ability to combo cards from underneath our cards. So we're going to combo away the Vegeta and the Goku here. So this one's going to go into the drop area, and the other one's going to go into the Z energy. And we're also going to be able to block with this. And we also have this counterplay here that we added off the Beyond All Limits. So we're going to play yet another one. And this card says burst 2, so that's what we're going to do here. So we're going to burst 2 to the drop area. We're going to draw 1, and then we're going to warp 1. We're going to place 1 into the Z energy in order to disrupt our opponent here. It'll also give us our leader plus 5k, so it's almost as if you don't need a Z leader, because this will at least give you a 5k boost. So let's play. Let's put this Vegeta into the Z energy. Now you have a 20k guy that can pretty much disrupt. On our following turn, I think we've pretty much covered all of the cards in this archetype. Let's see if we can find anything else that we haven't played yet. From our main deck, we only have 10 cards left. So keep in mind that although this card is an aggro leader, you can actually mill yourself out. So we pretty much played every single card in this archetype except for this Vegeta here, which is not anything special. It pretty much does what the Goku does, except it does critical. So that's the only difference. So yeah, let's see what else we can do here. The only thing we haven't done yet is using the -3 ability. So if you guys really want to minus the 3 here off this guy to play the 6 cost from your a battle card with the energy cost of 6, you may definitely do that. So on turn 4, basically you can pretty much do the same thing with the Beyond All Limits and Heated Fighting Spirit. Overall, I think this leader is going to be a pretty good black leader. I definitely have high hopes for this particular leader going into the next meta, as it has access to counterplay that allows you to pretty much disrupt your opponent as early as turn 2. So I have high hopes for this leader, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video for this particular leader. I will be covering I believe the yellow card or the blue cards next. So stay tuned for that on the next video. Peace.